Does anyone have a question?
Stuart, I have a question.
Miss Helly?
I'm just curious. I know that this sort of meditation is quite unique and it's not very widespread, I guess. There's only just a small handful of Kundalini open-eye meditation masters. Um, so my question is, um, in mainstream perception, I guess, of this kind of meditation, what are the most prevalent misconceptions about it that you feel would require clarification?
Uh, well, there's a couple of things. First of all, uh, most of mainstream knows nothing about it. I mean, look, what if I had 1,000 people here? Could I do this class? It's impossible. You understand? I mean, there's 20 people here, and it's fine. They say if you get out of this with one great person learning what you have to teach, it's a miracle. I mean, Rudy left, and maybe there's two people that really learned what he had to teach. Buddha had, a handful of disciples. Christ had 12 disciples that learned what he had to teach. So, anything that has truth in it, profundity in it, and is difficult to do is going to be shunned by the general population, which is usually looking for mediocrity. It's usually looking for easy ways to do things. And this, having a spiritual life, there's no easy way to do it. If you go through the hagiography that managed to attain sainthood, I mean, you see what they went through. I mean, it's something. So I don't think this meditation is supposed to be no. I mean, I just turned down somebody who wanted me to do a podcast, that would be shown at the Tribeca Film Festival. Today, I did it. I did it for real reasons too. Not that I didn't, I wanted to do it, but I couldn't do it. But it would have been shown at the Tribeca, whatever it is with podcasts, it would have this person won an award at the Tribeca Film Festival for a podcast. They got in touch with me. They wanted me to be involved in what they were doing. And I had to say no. So I don't think a meditation of this profundity and depth and different is for masses of people. I think it's for whoever wants to truly have a spiritual life and is willing to do what is essential to learn it. I mean, they say in the Bhagavad, many are chosen and few, everybody's born. Many are, here and very few are chosen. Everybody's born. Everybody has chakras. Everybody breathes. Everybody has a mind. A handful of people will use those tools to develop a spiritual life. They're ready. They come in to this lifetime karmically ready to do this and are willing to do whatever it requires to surrender in depth to do this kind of thing. So I wouldn't worry about the masses of people. Look, Christ was a much better teacher, the Son of God, for God's sake. He had 12 disciples. And then later, thousands of people began to interpret his thing, and what they made out of is a very nightmare. Same thing with the Buddha. He had a handful of disciples. And then everybody in turn knew it. There were 12 different forms of Buddhism, and the Buddha didn't even know he was a Buddhist. Christ didn't know that he was the Son of God. You understand? I mean, it's all living experience. And to truly, surrender and do what Christ taught, what the Buddha taught, you know, to do it in a pure way, it's extremely to do. And people would rather interpret these extraordinary teachings and turn them into something mediocre instead of learning how to make them a living reality. That a handful of people in any generation will do. They say many are called, everybody's born, few are chosen. This is right out of the Bible or the Bhagavad Gita or one of those sacred books. So I wouldn't worry about it. I mean, you are here, you're learning this meditation. Meditation is sacred. It's something that's miraculous. What it does to change people and help them grow and transform the muddy waters into a lotus flower. It's miraculous. Be grateful that you have found it and do it and really let it work on you. Without worrying about, when they're out there fighting their wars and, poverty and all this stuff, that goes on. It's just nonsense. I think countries that are so rich, there would be nobody on the earth that would ever be hungry if they would channel the money properly. But they don't. It's all greed and power and what we control. And that is, one of the rings in Dante's Inferno, You go to purgatory if you believe in, purgatory. So what I'm saying is that be grateful that you found something that works, that can, don't worry about thousands of people and what the rest of the world does, because there's no understanding that everybody has chakras, everybody has a mind, everybody breathes. Why isn't everybody using those tools? I spent about a half hour on the phone with an artist friend of mine who lives in Paris, and 4 or 5 of his paintings are going to be in my that's that we're finishing up now. And he wanted to know about, I mentioned something about him in the book and about in the Kabbalah and mystical Judaism, the H is surrendering to God. It was Abram who became Abraham, and it's the sound of breathing. And we were talking about that today. And it's something miraculous. We all breathe. We all have the voice of surrender and God inside us, breath. And so few people do it consciously, with awareness that every exhalation is a surrender to higher energy in the universe. It's inhale is I am, exhale is that. I am one with everything. Every person, 24 hours a day, praying. Be they whatever religion they believe in, or they're agnostic, or they're atheist, they're all praying 24 hours a day by the very fact that they breathe. How many people do it consciously? And that's why there's reincarnation. People have to go through whatever they go through to come back to one day do all these things consciously and understand they're here for one reason only. That's for the soul to become enlightened, to be a oneness with higher energy in the universe. So I don't know why, people don't understand or relate to this kind of thing. It's not my business. My business is to nurture whoever does it and comes to me and wants the teachings that were passed on to me from Rudy. That's my job. And I'll never get on a soapbox and preach Kundalini yoga to the world. And anyway, one thing I've learned is you get 100 people come to study, and maybe 2 of them really get it out of 100. And it's true, you got to have that 100 people come through because you want to find that 1 or 2 that really can open and receive the teachings. Does anyone else have a question they would like to? I hope that's clear, because I used to wonder why, when I first started doing this, I said, my God, this is extraordinary. It could save the world. I really used to believe that early on. And then I realized, no, Stuart, first save yourself. First, truly build a connection between yourself and God. And then maybe you'll attract a few people that you'll be able to pass that amazing teaching on to, and they can do the same thing. Does anyone else have a question they would like to ask? Well, let's all be grateful that we have this miracle. I mean, you could be in the apartment next door where they're watching television right now. Okay, if there are no more questions, thank you. God bless you all. And there'll be meditation tomorrow. I'm hoping to see everybody. Thank you. And feel like you're really, you're doing this extraordinary thing that Rudy left us. And it's a blessing to be able to do this, to change, to truly build a system that can connect with spirit by learning to use just the things we're born with: mind, breath, chakras. Okay, if there are no more questions, then thank you. And I'm looking forward to seeing everybody tomorrow. God bless you all. Thank you.
All right, Stuart.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Bye.
Good night.